Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
The Rise Up Morning Show.
Today is Wednesday, April 23rd, and Alex, can you guess? It's our 300th episode today. Woohoo!
That just don't seem right.
It just don't seem right. And I actually feel like we might be somewhere further down the line, like we missed an episode or skipped a count or something like that. And I might have reset the count after we went from Twitter to TikTok with this format. I honestly don't remember.
I mean,
But it's
there's
a
definitely more, but like officially, this is it.
This is it. This is the official 300th episode of the official morning show of the Financial Revolution. And we want to thank you so much for being the best part of what we do. Whether you've been here since episode 3 or you're just tuning in for number 300, here's to 300 more. We really couldn't do it without you. And Alex, you prepared a killer POAP for today's episode that we were going to release, but I have to tell you.
In true POAP fashion.
In true POAP fashion, I have once again been rugged by POAP. I have some administrative challenges going on with them. I think the problem that we need to solve is we just need to get the Discord bot back. Isn't Mac learning Python? Isn't that what he said he was starting with?
I guess.
I'm ready to low code, no code a new
Yeah.
Discord POAP bot and just tell GPT, look, we've already got this bot. This is how it works. Make me a new one. I'm sick and tired of dealing with the back and forth. I love POAP. Let me be clear. If you need to like create an NFT for something on the fly or even not on the fly, it's great. Their app is so fun and easy to use. I just think the approval process is difficult. Or they probably say the same thing about me. They're probably like, oh my God, here's that Evan guy again from the Rise Up Morning Show. Here he comes. But rest assured
Denied.
that when we have the process in place, the POAP ready, we will make it available to you. We'll have a fun little claim process on the show. Even if it comes in episode 301 or 302, I think that's okay. That's, par for the course for a couple of guys who work at a bleeding edge internet startup who can't quite get the POAP to work or figure out how to turn off the dual camera.
Figure it out.
Oh, if you just can't figure it out, if you're curious or skeptical about cryptocurrency, you have a question about what makes Bitcoin valuable, or you just want to understand this Web3 thing a little better, then you're in the right place. We're live Monday through Thursday at 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. And today is Web3 101 Wednesday. That's your time to ask any question. It's always your time to ask any question, but especially if you're new. We know that you can feel a little shy, or it can be embarrassing to raise your hand and say, I don't know something, especially when you enter a space where you feel like people are kind of talking at a deeper level. But we want to be clear. You're welcome here. Your questions are welcome here. And we need them. We want more people to understand, because more people have the questions that you do. And that's our whole job, is trying our best to answer them. We really do our best. So I did see one or two questions come through already, Alex, and they're a little more advanced, but I feel like we could address them if you want to. This is from our premium member, Parker, who asked if we could demonstrate on the show today how futures trading works and the platforms we use. If you want to do that, I'm prepared to give a little overview, mostly because the sites that I use, I actually can't access while on the stream because I have to use a VPN to access them. But we could talk about it in concept while we wait for some more questions to roll in, if that sounds good to you.
Yeah, full send. This is very firmly not in my wheelhouse. I don't participate in any of the options, futures, none of that nonsense. Spot, everything, all the time.
Well, I think we should
Keep it
probably start with a definition then. And Alex, you're a great guy to do it. Can you distinguish between spot? What is spot? What is futures? What exactly are we talking about when we use those words?
Yeah. So when I say spot, I mean that I don't participate in, shorts, longs, options trading, as in buying calls and puts and all that kind of stuff, which are different ways to purchase. We can get into in a second. I literally just buy the asset in question, and then I hold the asset in question. And then when it goes up in value, I sell the asset in question, and that's it. I'm constantly buying and selling the actual tokens themselves, not the options to buy and sell the tokens, which is what options are.
Yeah, options, you can think about it as the option, like Alex said, to buy and sell a token at a future price, a higher or lower price than you can trade for on a given platform currently. And you can do this to arbitrage, to make profit by taking advantage of what you think the price will be in the future as opposed to what it is now. And you can be long, which means you think the price is going higher and bet that it will in order to make money if it does. The further it goes, usually the more money you can make. And you can be short, which means you're betting that in the future, the price is going down. And just like a long position, you can open this in order to speculate on the price a minute from now, a month from now. But often in futures trading, there is another concept at play called leverage. Leverage is borrowing other people's money to make your trade work. It can help you have a more profitable trade if you are right, but it also makes you susceptible to something called liquidation if you are wrong. When you open a futures trade with leverage, you put up something called collateral, and you have what's called a margin. Your collateral is like your money that you put on the table that makes the platform on the other side willing to give you some money to complete the trade with at leverage. If it's a 5x leverage trade, maybe you put up $1 and they give you $5 back. As you trade with leverage, what happens is the more leverage, the more money you're borrowing in this trade, the less wiggle room you have for price to change while you're waiting for the trade to execute. For example, if I just buy Bitcoin right now at whatever price it is, I can hold that Bitcoin as long as I want. It can go up and down and up and down and up and down. It doesn't really matter. But if I'm doing an option or a futures trade and I'm using leverage, then I'm betting the price is going to move in a particular direction. And if it moves in the opposite direction, and it moves far enough in the opposite direction, the algorithms that run these trades have what's called a liquidation point, which means that if you're betting long and the price starts going short, your liquidation point will be at a certain short threshold, and they'll take the money that you put up and it's gone. Your position is closed. Liquidated, we say. You don't get that money back. You don't pass go, don't collect $200. Now, if you're trading with leverage and you put up $1 of collateral and you got $5 extra to trade at 5x leverage, then you only lose the $1 that you put up. But where a lot of people get into trouble is they have these accounts, these reserve accounts, these margin accounts, and they'll say, hey, I put up $1 to get $5 more and make this bet, and the price is going in the wrong direction for me. So I am going to add margin. This is when you say, I know I only put up $1, but if I put up $2 instead, can you keep my bet open a little longer and move that goalpost for me so you don't take my money? And they'll say, sure. And then the price keeps going in the direction you don't need it to, and you say, okay, well I'll put $1 more up, and $1 more up, and $1 more up, and $1 more up. And pretty soon you're in a position where you're way overexposed. You're betting way more than you thought you would just to keep this trade alive, keep this trade open. And a lot of people get liquidated anyway. They lose all their money that way. So options, especially with leverage, futures trading, can be very risky. And I don't recommend that you do it if you're a beginner. Most people, Alex, who come to us, they ask, how do I start trading crypto? Because I think that's what people suppose we do here.
And that's it.
How much do you trade?
Barely.
Honestly, almost not at all.
Like maybe 4 times a month, and that would be a big month. Not much.
Yeah. So especially if you're new and you're learning or you're investing for the first time, I would not consider trading and investing to be the same thing. I think you should learn about cryptocurrency, how to use it before you consider investing with it, before you consider trading with it. That's what I think personally. Other people might have a different journey. Some people are like, no, man, I've been trading Forex. I've been doing this. I've been doing that. I just want to trade anything I can trade. Anything with the market, I'll trade it. And whether that's you or not, I just don't think that futures is the place most people should start. However, if you do want to learn to trade futures, the places I would recommend that you go where I've had the easiest time for the most part are, oh, it's not even going to let me do this, is it? Let me show you this screen. I would recommend, if you want a centralized exchange that you can trade on, that you consider MEXC. This is MEXC.com. I am not affiliated with them. They're not sponsoring the show, though they probably could. I don't know if we'd take it. However, if you are Alex and MEXC, you got a bone to pick with MEXC. If you are a US customer, you'll notice that they do not serve you. So you will need to use a VPN to access their website. Or if you really want to be super compliant, what I recommend you do is you get a Palau ID. For like $250, you can register for a residence in Palau. They'll send you a nice ID card, and you can use that to sign up for several different crypto exchanges. If you want a decentralized option, for which you will also need a VPN, I would recommend Hyperliquid. Now, Hyperliquid, which is app.hyperliquid.xyz, is a protocol where you can do a lot of stuff, but at its core, it's a decentralized perps DEX, which means perpetuals, aka futures trading. And it's got kind of an intimidating interface, but the good news about Hyperliquid is that there are a ton of tutorials about it. And the interface that they use is a lot like the interfaces you'll see at places like KuCoin, where you might also take your Palau ID and engage in this kind of thing. Now, I say Hyperliquid is decentralized, but really, truly, decentralization, as Alex reminds us, is a spectrum. And if you tuned in recently, then you caught the episodes where we discussed Hyperliquid's decision to change some things on their platform when a bet didn't go their way, when somebody tried to take advantage of a position. They voted almost unilaterally in a very short amount of time to reset their ledgers on their platform to give themselves a win when until then they had been losing. But what you do is you will buy assets on spot, like Alex said, just at their market price. You will transfer them to your Hyperliquid or MEXC wallet, or you will use funds on the platform that you have there already to buy assets that you want to trade. You will open a position by choosing whether you want to buy or sell, and often the interfaces look like this. Oh, my silly camera. You've got the asset you're trading. This is Hyperliquid, the Hype token. You're going to choose how much you want to buy, USDC worth, or whatever token you're trading for it. And then you're going to... Actually, I want to be over here. Sorry. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to log in to do this too with my little VPN and connect my wallet, which is okay. Gosh, I really thought I was going to be able to show you more than this. For everybody listening on the podcast, if you really want to get the full show experience, you can come over to YouTube and see me flounder as I realize I need to be logged in to use this feature. But the TLDR is that once you get your assets and once you're logged in, you're going to choose to buy or sell, to go long or short. You'll want to check out what fees apply. Sometimes you have to pay a fee depending on whether you're a buyer or a seller, and sometimes this changes based on market conditions, and this can really eat into your profit. There are types of traders who open trades for a long time, and then there are others who are just looking for very quick movements. We call them scalpers, in one direction or another. And it really depends on how active you want to be, but I would recommend, if you're walking away from a trade with leverage, that you set what's called a stop loss, which is where if the trade starts going in the direction you don't want it to, there is a price target at which your position will close so that you don't get liquidated and lose all your money. You lose a little bit of money to avoid losing all your money. People who are in very short-term trades, they might add margin because they think it's going to go one way or the other, or they might just close the trades manually. I know a lot of people, I say a lot of people, most of the people I know who trade futures and perpetuals, they don't do it passively. By which I mean, Alex might buy Sol at $90, forget about it, notice it's green 3 weeks later, and then sell it. And if he misses it, no big deal. If you're doing this kind of trading, you probably want to be sitting at your computer. It's like hanging out in the meme coin casino. That's probably the advice that I have on it. If I don't think I can log into either of these pages. I don't like to do a VPN while we're doing the show because it doesn't work well. But what I would say is, if you want to learn more about this in our community, I would check out, first of all, the technical analysis channel. I would not hesitate to ask a question in the general chat, or if you're a premium member in the lounge, we can find you a good tutorial or resource to get you even deeper. Or we could make it a special topic of interest in our community one day. We could do some sort of like thorough walkthrough when we're all logged in together. And I want to shout out friend of the show, Doug at Trend Drift, I do believe is his handle, sometimes known as Fresh. He is always online, on stream, showing people how to trade and can tell you about the interfaces for a lot of these things. I also think DeFi Daddy has done some trading on Hyperliquid specifically on stream on TikTok, if you're interested in catching up or learning that. But there are lots of creators who share helpful information about this. Now, Alex, save me from myself because I'm getting in too deep. Someone in the comments asked, is this a religious cult or a crypto channel? I ask myself all the time. I'm curious. For the 300th episode, somebody finally figured it out. We're really just here because Alex wants to teach you to pray.
Yeah, 'cause
I will absolutely die on this hill.
I am not a heathen.
I am not a heathen.
Not a heathen. So
We also go ahead.
I was going to say that was as you would say, a very thorough and excellent explanation of all of this kind of stuff. I'm trying to nutshell the whole thing so we can put a bow on options and futures if you're ready to move on.
I'm set.
Okay. The easiest way because I'll be honest, one of the many things that are in my knowledge gap is remembering the difference between calls and puts. And I don't care how many times I read the definition. It just doesn't stick. It was like, for the first half of my life, it was remembering the difference between affect and effect. And, finally coming up with a way to do that. So calls, and now it's non-custodial and custodial. Still to this day, I'm not 100% confident in my answer to which one is which. And honestly, I think it's whoever named its fault, because I think they named it backwards.
Yeah, I think they did too.
So the easiest way that I think about it is that when you call, you're claiming the right to buy. And when you put, you are claiming the right to sell. And then you're basically kind of like Evan was describing, you're taking a guess and then you're making a bet on that guess about where you think price is going to go and what you would like to be able to do with the asset in question if and when the price goes where you think it's going to go. You're pretty much you're betting, and you can bet with conviction, but at the end of the day, you are making a bet. And there are all sorts of ways, like Evan's talking about, stop loss, sell loss, depending on which direction you're trading up or down, to protect yourself a little bit, mitigate the risk at least a bit. So this is another, like, I will continue to say this because I use it for this kind of stuff all the time, where especially something like this, where I'm like, okay, for the love of God, I've read this like 18,000 times and I can't remember the difference between call and put. I just tell ChatGPT, my research assistant thread, like, dude, listen, I can't do it. I can't get it. I can't remember it. You got to give me like something little and sticky that can go in my head that will keep me reminded of what it is that I'm trying to do. And that's how I did affect and effect. A verb. When it's a verb, it's with an A. And that was it. And for now, all I think is a verb every time I have the question, and I'm good.
Nice.
And so
nice.
I try to do that for like all the things, to keep all the things straight,
This is just assurance for the people listening that we're like a mid-curve podcast, man. We play smart guys on the internet, but like we have our flaws.
We are,
and they are many.
Yes. We are cosplaying smart people. Although one could counter that having an insatiable curiosity and the never-ending drive to constantly learn new things is what makes someone smart.
Yeah, that's right. I would certainly advocate. As a curious person myself, I would advocate for that. Can I say too, a lot of this is, it can be kind of mumbo jumbo in terms of if you're over on Hyperliquid, looking at this chart right here. This is a 1 hour chart. you look at the 5-minute chart, you look at the day chart. It's really, we've talked about this before. Is technical analysis a self-fulfilling prophecy? Is it a system that you can apply to your thinking? The answer is probably both. And honestly, Alex, I mean, you look at this 5-minute chart, and this is like a ping pong game. If you were trying to make a 30-second trade and you see that it's bing bonging back between 18.7 and 19.2 in the last 5 minutes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, you're probably at this point just waiting for it to get up here and watching it to change direction. And then you're going short, and then you're going to open another trade and it's going long. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to sit here for an hour and do that all day. We're probably not going to use more than 5 times leverage because we're not super degenerate. And the other thing I would tell people is if you're like experimenting with this or you're starting to do this, you got to have rules and be consistent. Don't think you're a whiz, you've cracked it, you've figured out the ultimate money glitch and port your full bank account into this. If all you have to spend, if you've got $10,000 and you decide all I can afford to spend on this that I can lose is $100, then maybe you would take 5 of those dollars that you were going to lose in crypto and put them here. And you'd take one of them and open a position with it. Because what if you're wrong, man? You don't want to throw all that away. Slow and steady wins the race with this kind of stuff. And learning by doing is probably the easiest, I would say.
I think that, and like you pointed out, though, this is one of those good times to draw a distinction wherein a lot of people kind of think, and honestly, it's because it's the loudest story being told by the most people that get amplified the most aggressively, that trading is what this is, that this is just stock market 2.0 with more degeneracy. And that kind of causes, I would say that contributes to the slower evolution of the space in general. Like, we've been around for a while and we know how fast things move in the tech space in general, regardless of which sector you're in. Certainly in Web3, things are in a dead sprint all the time. But if the most common thing bringing new people in is just trading, and then, okay, well, now so you've started spot trading, now you got to start doing futures, and now you got to work with leverage and blah, 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 blah. To me, that's kind of just keeping us held back a little bit. And not everyone is interested in that. Like, I have no interest in being a day trader.
No.
I could sit here and dedicate all my time to learning how to do that. I've learned how to do a ton of stuff. I tell myself all the time, like, I may not be a great trader, but like, if I could go from my level of knowledge to the point where I could take a helicopter apart and put it back together again, I can learn how to fucking day trade.
My friend Matt is doing that right now. Our friend of the show,
I have no
Matt.
interest in it.
Yeah. He enjoys it. He feels it's fun and is good at it, and it keeps him curious, and that's what makes it effective.
Some of my friends make their full-time living from day trading. I've had the thought before, like, okay, I'm gonna do that, and then it's just like, oh, no, this just doesn't speak to me. I want to do something else.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to talk about it, and I just think there's a lot more. There's a lot more to it, and I know that it's the loudest story, but it's honestly probably not even the most popular. Like, when you really break it down and talk to people, like, what are you interested in? I think more people are interested in using, like, for me, it's DeFi. DeFi keeps me here all the time because, like I was talking about on a video yesterday, this is a beautifully built system designed to keep everybody exactly where they are, and DeFi is the way out. Learning about it is the answer. I will get culty with that.
I want to highlight this comment that says, I discovered perps, loved it, then was like, this is a job. I already have a job.
Hey, man.
I'm telling you what. Alex, we did have a question a little while back that was right at the start that I do want to honor because I think it'll take us in a different direction that will be a good contrast. Someone said, I've been hearing a lot recently about HBAR and XLM, and I think it might have been on the After Dark with Nil. I was listening to our previous episodes. I wasn't there, but I caught the conversation where you guys were talking about established companies in this space and just how funny it is that we give them names like dino coins when really they're super nascent startups at the bleeding edge of the internet. And I think it was you who made a distinction between companies like HBAR, or the graph, Hedera. I mean, Jesus, too many companies. Hedera and also Stellar.
Well, you got to remember, there's the labs, there's the studios, there's the foundation,
the Coinbase wallets, the smart. I mean, come on, guys, seriously.
It's too much.
It's just stupid.
So you were the one making the point, though, that they have a lot of people because they have a lot of money who are just heads down, curious, solving big problems, and really don't give a flip about the token price. And that frees them up to do all kinds of interesting, cool work. Kind of like I would throw Polkadot in there. Polkadot, the marketing, the DAO, did they make a $70 million mistake? Yeah. But also, there are some cracked people who have great ideas. They're investing in developers. They're investing in their infrastructure. And they've got enough money that they can probably be around for the next 5 years to give those people time to work on something really cool that nerds like us will love and maybe people will build their apps on, is kind of my take. But did you want to expound on that? And can you confirm that was After Dark where you were talking about that with Nil and Will, right? Yeah. So if you want to hear more on that conversation, check out the recording on YouTube, the After Dark playlist. It's number 29, or on your favorite podcasting platform, or on Spotify, Apple. You can find all the links at theriseupmorningshow.com. But what do you think about that? Can you give a fresh take on HBAR, XLM, the tokens for these companies, and these companies generally, these so-called dino companies?
I think something that gets lost a lot is that the playbook is different for this. Like, we were just talking about how a lot of people will come to the space thinking about just becoming a trader. That's all there is to offer here. You overlook the rest of the stuff. In the same token, pun intended, when you have like a company, a project, a whatever that is trying to figure out how to be successful as an entity in the space, oftentimes they follow the exact same playbook. You got to learn how to meme. You got to get something viral, and you have to grow your market cap as big as humanly possible. Token price simply must go up. And on its face, those are fine metrics to chase, but they don't necessarily lead to the right kind of conversion for everybody. And I think that's something that these dinos, for lack of a better word, are needing to work on, is just the fact, like, okay, hey, you can't all literally just sit here and do the same thing that you've been doing forever. And you also can't just sit here and do the things that all of the new kids on the block are doing, because you're not the same kind of company. Imagine if Coca-Cola and Lane Bryant and John Deere all hired one guy to do all of their marketing, and they did the exact same plan for every sales initiative and every ad campaign and every slogan and every meme attempt. Like, that would make no sense.
No,
that would never happen. Yet in crypto and Web3, there are people who brand themselves as crypto and Web3 marketers who, with a gun to their head, could not tell you the difference between all of these different entities and protocols that are theoretically being advertised through them. They're just, all they know how to do is hype people up about exciting announcements without drawing any differentiation between any of them. So when it comes to all of these older tokens that have been around for one or two full cycles, it's time to get over trying to just keep up the hype machine, because it doesn't work and it looks bad. It's hurting you way more than it's helping you. Yeah. And you got to go back to there was a reason you probably started this company. There was a reason. There was something that you were trying to work on and solve. There was something that pulled you into the space. Like, chase that out. Stellar, I think Stellar's kind of working on it. They don't really participate much in the hype stuff. And what do they care about? They care about onboarding a gajillion people through their wallets to facilitate better payments and help with remittances and all this kind of stuff. Every time I hear them talk about stuff, it's payment, nothing else. But so that's great. Chase that kind of stuff. Advertise that way. Like, not everything has to be $1 trillion company.
I wanted to highlight this tweet from our friend of the show, Justin Vogel, over at Safari, Web3 marketer extraordinaire. The tweet, for people who can't see it, says, we're struggling with marketing your content. 99% dev updates, 1% memes, and me, I have a theory.
Nailed it.
Basically. If you want, give Justin a follow over on Twitter at jkey_eth. He is going to be on the show, the Rise Up Morning Show, on May 7th. That's a Wednesday. He'll be here with us, and we're going to pick his brain about their approach to community-led relational education. They've got a really cool thing going over there at Safari Club, and we can't wait to have him on the show. He's a cool guy, got good takes. And yeah, it's very different, though, the stellar approach or the HBAR approach.
Here's a good example.
Okay.
Solom on TikTok just commented that we need to get Charlie back from Farcade, and I agree.
Which I would love.
Charlie is also the perfect example of marketing properly. That dude, I mean, like, listen, do I want to be sponsored by Farcade? Yeah, absolutely. But if he asked me honestly, I would tell him, look, dude, you literally don't need my help. Like, I can talk about it. But if you look at Charlie's content, what is he doing? He's just constantly highlighting new games that are getting built. And then he weaves in, I would say, like 10% dev type updates about new features and improvements and advancements on the platform. And then the rest of it's just like applauding people for nailing a new high score or some new game that just got a bunch of plays or all that kind of stuff. He knows exactly what he's doing. He wants gaming to move faster and be more casual and be fun again. And he built a new method of delivering easy, fun games to people. And there he goes. And he's crushing it.
Yeah, I agree with Solon. We definitely need a game where you are like wielding your DeFi lightsaber and just slashing through, I don't know, little poop emojis or something like that. Okay, Alex, I have a real request for you. People on the show yesterday, they remarked how impressive it was, our multitasking during the live broadcast. And if you are listening in the future, first of all, I hope your candles are green. Hello. Hope it's nice. You should tune into the live show sometime because I'm open. Yeah, right. Sorry about your bags. I'm opening doors. We're typing in. We're pulling up screen shares. Alex is answering every question in the comments. And I just got an email from POAP and they're live with me. And I want to try and troubleshoot this drop really quick. Can you vamp a bit for me and round out this segment? I was going to say, just as my kind of final thought for it, it's very different and equally viable to look at and learn the culture, the people, the messaging, the strategy of companies that are investing millions of dollars building the future through technologies like tokens or protocols, as it is to sit down at your computer and clock into a job to be a day trader. Like, those are very viable ways to make money, and they're very different. And the dino coins, say what you will about how exciting their price action is or is not, but they're viable places to put your attention if you want to learn where our space has been, is, and might be going. That's my thought. Give me a vamp, give me a song and a dance. I'll be with you.
There will be no singing. There will be no dancing. But I will talk about something. I am good at talking. I'm actually going to grab this comment from Nick here, who just said, you guys ready for the bull run? To say, yes, Nick, always. I always am, because I'm always prepared for the market to go any of the three directions that it's capable of going. And so let me, while Evan figures out his, I don't even know how to describe Evan's relationship with POAP, but I feel like Evan's one of the people who's probably requested more POAPs, what he has, than anyone I know.
I have.
And it's never smooth. And I feel like constantly the POAP team just sees Evan send a request and they're like, look, I don't know what he wants, but tell him no. Tell him we're not home right now. Mr. Superman not here. Can't do it. Okay, so what do I mean by, yes, of course I'm ready for the bull market and I'm always prepared. It's pretty simple. This is kind of this methodology that I've been talking about a lot lately, which I think everybody should honestly be employing. If you're new to the space, or you're just like trying not to make it your entire personality with regards to, like buying and selling and trading and hoping and praying that the candles are all green and that you never lose any money and all this kind of stuff. The secret sauce is preparing for all three things. So what are the three things a market can do? This is going to sound so reductionist and silly, but bear with me. It can either go up, down, or side, or flat. That's it. And as soon as you realize that, all of a sudden, in my head at least, it's become so much less complicated. And you can come up with a plan for up, down, and sideways. And then whenever one of the three things happen, just do your plan and you win. And it's that simple. So the rules are buy things with conviction. So only invest in or purchase assets that you have faith in, that you have conviction in. That way, if it goes down, you don't have to stress about it because it's going to come back. 2, recognize when you're gambling, and gambling is fine. Casinos are fun. Vegas is fun. I always say the existence of Vegas doesn't mean that my 401k is worthless. So just, gamble responsibly and understand what it is that you're doing. And then 2, never go 100%. That's been my rule for this entire cycle. Wherever we're at, never go 100%. If I'm selling for profit, I never sell 100% of the position, so that if it goes up further, I always have more. Always. Whenever something craters and I think like, hey, this is potentially a great price to come back in, it's much lower than I just sold for. Cool, great. Never buy with 100%. Always keep some stable coins on the side. Always. I cannot stress that enough. The number of times that I see a comment that's just like, I have no money left to buy the dips, it's because you went too hard, too fast in the wrong thing. And now you are over leveraged. If you have no money left to do anything, you are over leveraged. You went in with more than you could afford to lose. So honest, and then if the market's boring and sideways, you can be taking little average positions and that way, or you can just be waiting. Doing nothing is a viable option. That's totally fine. Don't let anyone pressure you into feeling like I have to be buying things right now. I think that is one of the things that screwed me over in my first bull. Oh my God. My first bull run, I just succumbed to the whole, like, it's dipping. Don't be a bitch, buy it. I'm like, okay. And then I'm over leveraging and I'm buying at the top and I have no idea what the top even means. And, and then all of a sudden I get to sit there and round trip a full portfolio all the way through a bear market, watch it disappear all the way down to nothing, and just hope that all this nonsense comes back. So, are we done with the PSA, or did you?
Yeah, I've just been kind of. I'm chatting with him still. It'll be okay. I might need you to take another one, but it kind of reminds me of. I don't know, like a guy at a bar who's like, oh man, we're telling our first bull run, like drinking stories.
Oh yeah, you know what it reminds me of? Christina is rewatching Parks and Rec right now for the 5th or 6th
I've heard about
time.
it.
Oh, Evan, one of the best shows ever made. Anyway, there is a moment when Leslie Knope, one of the main character, is running for office, and so she is on stage having a debate with her opponent, and they have a watch party at one of the team's houses to watch this, but he didn't pay his cable bill or something, and there's no cable TV. So he basically, while everyone is trying to figure out how to fix the TV and the internet situation, Andy, played by Chris Pratt, is just reenacting movies for people, like line for line, the whole thing, acting the whole thing out, and he does all of it. Rambo, a whole bunch of stuff. It's was you Fight Club? No.
Oh my God.
He does a few. It's hilarious. But that's how I felt right now. I was pulling an Andy and Roadhouse. Yes, thank you, Robert.
Yeah, Roadhouse. Oh my God.
He does hilarious. Roadhouse. Yeah, that was a good one.
I would love to see a solo interpretation of Roadhouse. Cheers to you, Alex, and to Robert Steckler in the chat, who said, here's what you do. Find my wallet. When I make a purchase, you sell. It's like autopilot. You're welcome. Sometimes I feel like that.
Yes, there are several examples of this. Whenever Jim Cramer tweets something, you're probably pretty safe to do the opposite. Now, whenever Eric Trump tweets something, definitely don't do what he said. And then the inverse Watson.
The old inverse Watson. That's right. And if you're missing our friend Will, don't fret. He'll be back on Rise Up After Dark. He's taking Wednesday morning off, and you can catch all of his thoughts online. And that seems like a good time to remind you that if you haven't yet and you want to connect with our thoughts, join the Rise Up Discord server. That's the place the show lives 24/7. It's discord.gg/riseup. We've got a global community of curious learners. The absolute only thing missing, my friends, is you. And I will tell you, it won't be the home of our community forever, because due to some concerns we have about safety, usability, and creating a superior community experience, we have bit the bullet. we have onboarded to Circle, and we are working on building a permanent home for our community there. So expect updates from us. I'm going to post an announcement about it today in Discord for your feedback. And speaking of feedback, don't forget we've got a poll going right now. The much teased USDC to $2 t-shirt design needs your feedback. The Alex design, I'm calling it, option number 1, is far and away the leader of the pack. But go ahead and check it out. It's in the announcements posts. Totally free to join the Discord. It'll take you 2 minutes. We've got a tutorial on the riseupmorningshow.com. If you've never done that before, you can jump right in, give your vote, and somebody who votes will win a free USDC to $2 shirt. You can keep that money and buy USDC with it. Wouldn't that be great?
Joe is asking about the scammer sniffer potential in Circle. And this was probably the biggest thing, at least that I was curious about when we had our onboarding call with them about moving over there. So the short answer is yes, it's significantly and exponentially better than Discord, which is unfortunately, as much as I love it and have been a diehard daily constant user since 2017, it's just an awful hotbed for grifters and scammers and impersonators and swindlers of all shapes and sizes, especially when you're talking about crypto. It's just I would say that it's nearly impossible to make a crypto-based community, especially one that is largely populated with new people who are learning a lot of this kind of stuff for the first time. So that's the biggest impetus for moving to Circle.
That's right. We're going to have a lot more ability to control who's in the community, who gets to see what, and honestly, just to make it simpler for people who've never used an app like Discord before. It's similar. If you do use Discord, you're going to love it. And if you don't love Discord, you're going to love it. It's got all the features, but none of the fluff and not as much of a learning curve. Excited to bring it to you, and a cohort education style experience. More on that soon. We have another question in the chat, which is from Palmer, who says, when I use USDC to buy BTC, Bitcoin, do I end up paying double tax because USDC is considered crypto? And the answer, honestly, is it depends. If the price of your USDC has fluctuated and it's a large amount, the discrepancy from when you bought it and when you're selling it, or in this case, selling it to swap it for Bitcoin, because that's what a swap is, selling one crypto, buying another, you might have to pay some taxes on it. Like, USDC is not perfectly $1 all the time. And in fact, the price of the dollar is changing. Sometimes USDC is like $0.9999998. Sometimes it's $1.0000001. And if you're moving $10,000, then you might have, I don't know, a $2 difference or something like that. In which case, technically, yes, you will incur capital gains or capital loss tax. And there are even some people who arbitrage stablecoins to great effect in order to do this, and they have to pay a lot of taxes. They make big profits. But if you use a software like Coinly, CoinStats, CoinTracker, or it'll take care of it for you. And honestly, I don't know about you, Alex, but I'd say if somebody's just, doing occasional swaps and they're moving like small amounts of money and they're taking track of it themselves, I don't think you probably need to worry about reporting cents of capital gains. I don't think the government's going to audit you over that.
No, and actually, that's not even just don't worry about it. You can go look on the IRS website. All the guidelines are published every single year, and there's a threshold. Like below a certain amount of income, it's just 0%.
Nice.
So you can keep track of it. It's good practice to kind of get in the habit of just writing and recording the stuff down. And then, but no, I mean, especially if it's like less than $600, every year, which is that's a US thing. So if you're international, then it's probably different in different countries. I think it's $600. That's, allowed to be completely like tax-free. And then if it goes up to 15,000, there's one rate. Just go look at the IRS website has all the, I'm not going to do you all the disservice of me trying to remember the percentages, but it's all up there. And yes, you are correct. You don't need to report cents of profit.
Okay, vamp for me for just 30 more seconds. I'm on with POAP, man. The POAP war continues.
I will. Okay, so on the subject of this POAP, so we've done a lot of these, and this is fun. This was an easy one, Evan. When I told you that I was like gonna get the artwork done, and I just use AI for making these little pictures for the POAPs and stuff. To be very honest, I would love it if I didn't have to do that, but I'm not an artist, and I'm used to sitting there and arguing with Midjourney, like going back and forth, trying to get it to do what I want. I used GPT 4.0, the image generation, last night. It was like one sentence. It was like, hey, I need this. Please make it look like this. Nailed it. And they put an exclamation point. I was like, can you pull the exclamation point out? Just pulled it out. If you tell Midjourney to like pull an exclamation point out of a picture, it's going to like have a seizure. It's going to completely melt down. It's been a minute since I've used Midjourney, but like it was night and day. So I was sitting down ready for a full hour of tinkering with this thing, and it took 18 seconds.
Isn't that great? I was doing yesterday a class for the University of Memphis. I have a friend there who's a professor and invites me to teach as a guest lecturer a couple of classes, usually to their marketing students. And yesterday we were talking about their final assignment that she gives me some leeway to run, which is like, you are a marketer for a brand who is going to implement a strategy, a content strategy across social media for, whatever, pick your brand kind of thing, justify your strategy, and use AI tools to accelerate the amount of work that you're able to do, the quality and the quantity. And so I kind of give them a state of AI. I show them a couple of tools, how to use them well. And each time I give the class, it is amazing to me, like how much changes. It's a really good like bookmark for me personally to be like, oh my gosh, I've probably, since GPT-3 came out, I've probably done 4 of these, a few weeks apart, a few months apart. And every single time I'm like, okay, here are some new tools. The last time I did this, these tools only could do this. And now they can do this. We did an ad yesterday where I asked GPT, it was the 4.0 version, to generate a model for a makeup campaign for a brand called Tarte Cosmetics that one of the students was doing. And they wanted to do a campaign responding to this backlash. The brand is like hyper influencer. They do these Tarte trips where they send influencers on like lavish trips. And they got a lot of backlash that was like, you guys are spending way too much money. These influencers don't need this kind of thing. And so her idea was, let's make it about real people. Real makeup for real people kind of thing. Love it. We did the whole strategy with GPT after like one prompt. We loved what it gave us. And we asked it to generate an image for an Instagram style post. We were going to do a carousel as the first post. And it gave us this really real looking woman putting on some lipstick. And I pulled a product from their website and I was like, hey, replace that lipstick with this. And I didn't realize it, but while it looked like lipstick, it was actually a hair concealer. And GPT knew that it was a different product and changed the placement of her hand so that instead of putting it on her lips, she was applying it properly. And it looked exactly like the product in the picture. I was amazed.
Wild.
And it took 2 minutes. So the progress they have made, all of them, is phenomenal. Now, if you have a crypto question, I want to remind you, this is Web3 101 Wednesday. If you're listening to the recording, the best way to get involved with Web3 101 Wednesday is to drop by live. You can come to Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and you can find all those links at theriseupmorningshow.com and drop your question in the chat. If you have a crypto question, let us know. We're wrestling with POAP as we speak. And in the meantime, Alex, is it cool with you if, will you monitor the questions in the chat? I would like to debut a new segment that I think will be a good part of Web3 101 Wednesday, and I am talking about the Rise Up Rewind. Yes, for the first time, we are dipping into the on-chain archive to go back through the block, deep into the stack, to bring you a story from blockchain's past to help you understand the present as we work to build the future. And I am taking us all the way back to 2017, Alex, because before there were content coins that we're talking a lot about lately, before there were meme coins, which people are talking about, before Base was a thing and Pumped Out Fund, before most of us even knew what MetaMask was, my brother, there were ICOs. Initial coin offerings is what that stands for. This is the Wild West meets Wall Street meets a Discord server full of, real red flags. Founders of cryptocurrency projects. And this was new. At this point, it was Bitcoin. So all of these people, including folks like Gavin Wood and Vitalik Buterin, would write a white paper. They would launch a token. And most of them would just kind of promise the moon. Substantial or not. It was usually a fugazi. People would throw millions of dollars at these tokens, often without a working product. If you think FOMO is bad now, man, I mean, there were tokens that raised tens of millions of dollars in just minutes. There was Bancor, Tezos, EOS. They drew ETH from all kinds of everyday people who were able to speculate on this kind of thing for the first time and were just sure that they'd found the next Bitcoin. And following the success of Ethereum, which was kind of an underground thing, this really exploded. I say for the first time because initial coin offerings are named after initial public offerings, initial offering of a stock that they're meant to mirror. And so people saw this as a way to get in early. That's where this comes from, on the stock of a crypto company by buying their token as a way to speculate on the future value of this network, this protocol, this app, this company, whatever. Without having to be an accredited investor, register with the SEC, or all the other kinds of things they would have had to do to participate in early launches of a traditional company or security or something like that. Some rugged, some failed, some were straight up frauds, and the SEC eventually cracked down. ICO projects, they got fined, they got delisted, and really for the first time, our whole space had to reckon with an uncomfortable truth that just because something is new does not mean it's valuable, and just because you can launch a token doesn't mean you should. And now today, we're seeing a new wave of token launches. Zora, Base, Farcaster, Solana. They might be framed as art, they might be framed as memed, they might be framed as social experiments. There was NFT wave, but a lot of them are doing the same kind of thing. There's a lot of hype. There's a low float, high fully diluted value. There's no roadmap. And, I want to be clear. Alex and I aren't here to kill your fun. But if you want to be a smarter investor, you want to be a creator, you want to be a builder in this space, it is helpful to learn the patterns. The ICO era, it showed us how fast a gold rush can turn into a graveyard. And so, as you study the game now, look to what the previous seasons did. And Alex, I'm curious, as you think back to the ICO boom or some of the other trends that I mentioned, NFTs or the first wave of meme coins. Are there any other noteworthy comparisons or distinctions you would draw? Because the more I see these things, even though they're very different vehicles, the more I feel like, man, history is just repeating itself, or at least rhyming again and again and again.
I think that once you demonstrate the potential for extraction, people will just dress that turd up in different costumes for as long as they possibly can. As long as there are people to swindle each other, people will swindle each other with whatever vehicle is the easiest to use for it. So I feel like it's kind of diminishing returns. Think about it. If I've tossed another thing out there, I guess, and we're still kind of seeing this, although they're getting way more stingy, thank God, was the raises. If you looked at how much money was raised via venture capital in the last few years for Web3 projects and companies that they were basically pre-idea, it was insane. You could see, you would see a startup go on Shark Tank and make a pitch and walk away with $200,000 for a significant percentage of their company. And they had an idea. Oftentimes they had a product. Oftentimes they had manufacturing and they were working on scaling. And oftentimes they had some sort of product market fit that just could have been stronger. Meanwhile, in crypto land, you had VCs putting millions of dollars into pre-product, pre-revenue companies, which is the nature of venture capital investing, of course, but not to that degree. It was ridiculous. And they did it because they knew they were going to make it back on TGE, on the initial trade volume and the pump of that token. That is why I don't like MEXC, because I lost a startup that I cared a lot about because of how MEXC chose to handle it.
We lost a lot of good men.
Yeah, I mean, I failed at a lot of startups, but that one hurt because it was really cool. And now I watched like the moment to do it pass by, and I was watching just everyone rake in money for ideas that were, and I'm a little biased, but lame and worse than ours. And we're like, well, can we just do it without a token? Nope, you sure can. Take that money back. So I don't know. It's that, honestly, that whole part of the industry is boring to me because it's the same shit in a different hat every time. Yeah. And it's like you said, NFTs were a great example of that. The technology behind what makes the Bored Ape Yacht Club special is really cool. At any point were those things worth $250,000 or $400,000? Absolutely fucking not. The only reason it was is because someone thought they could sell it for more later. And there were so many examples of that. And then, of course, everyone just decided that if you just tokenize some picture, it automatically becomes valuable. Who cares what it's a picture of? Generate it and with AI and slap it together and, sell it for $1 million. No, who cares? There was barely any effort to put anything behind any of them. And then the ones that did often didn't do well. They were like, what are you trying so hard for? Sell me the JPEG. So I don't know. It's just, that is one of the things, we as an industry have been in a dead sprint, and we are repeatedly shooting ourselves in the feet every day, constantly. It's really annoying.
You said it the other day. I agree. Now,
ICOs are good. I had completely forgotten about the ICO boom. That feels like such a distant memory. You said EOS and Neo and all these other things, and every now and then one of those comes up, and I'm like, oh.
Right, and EOS and Tezos, they're still around. They raised a lot of money then.
Oh my
you know
God,
what I mean? Enough money to stay alive forever and to pivot and to pivot and to pivot. And that was another thing we were talking about with the the dino tokens or whatever. Is it's one thing to pivot, but it's another thing to make pivoting your brand identity. So, thank you, my friends, for the support, for the love. I am actively working with the POAP people. The saga is unfolding. I think we might be able to distribute a POAP on the show live and have a way for our friends who are listening to the recording to claim it. So stay tuned. Don't quote me yet, but I am working on it. And in the meantime, we've got about 30 minutes left of Web3 101 Wednesday. I'd like to answer this question from our friend Palmer over on YouTube, talking about taxes again. They asked the question about USDC and Bitcoin, and they asked another good question. They said, doesn't Coinbase keep track of tax for me? And the answer is yes. A lot of centralized exchanges, in order to be compliant, will keep track of what you buy, what you sell, and they'll even create a handy-dandy document you can download at the end of your tax year and upload into TurboTax, H&R Block, send to your accountant. But I advocate that people use a tax solution designed for crypto anyway, because if you moved your assets off platform, like maybe you sent them to Coinbase Wallet so you could stake your USDC or lend it on Aave or something like that, then it comes back to Coinbase and Coinbase treats it like you just bought it again for the first time. So you really have to be careful with that. You need a tax software that can help you make adjustments, that can help you accurately report. Otherwise, you're going to end up overpaying or maybe underpaying, and you don't want to be in that boat. Coinly is one we recommend. It works for a lot of countries, and we actually just did a whole walkthrough of it. It's at theriseupmorningshow.com. You can get a recording. If you're a premium member, you can get it for like $20. So check that out. Alex, do you have any other thoughts to add in terms of maybe structured approaches, or when you're dealing with centralized exchanges, or the best way to prepare for taxes? I know you're a spreadsheet guy.
Yeah, honestly, just because I hate adding new tools unless it's necessary. I've used Coinly. I enjoy it. I'm a little bit spoiled too because I really don't do enough to do anything other than declare income taxes and then some capital gains. But I also still to this day take advantage of wash trading, so I usually don't have too many to report. It's legal still.
Yeah.
I don't see that going away anytime soon.
Alex, what is wash trading for people who are unfamiliar with that term?
Wash trading is the practice of selling an asset and immediately rebuying it. And in doing this, you achieve a couple things. So in this, let's have a hypothetical with Bitcoin. You bought it at 50,000 and it went to 40,000. So the price is currently sitting at 40,000. You're coming up on the end of the tax year and you are holding this asset. You would like to keep holding it, but you also have, potentially profit somewhere else and you're trying to cover it. So you could sell the Bitcoin at 40,000, realizing a $10,000 loss, and just immediately rebuy it again, which would lock in a loss. It would repurchase the asset and establish a new cost basis. So now your average is $40,000. You need to be aware of the fact that if it goes back to 50, now you will owe capital gains. So now you're in profit again.
Okay.
But in stocks, you can't do that. You have to wait a certain amount of time. Forget what it is off the top of my head. 30 days to repurchase an asset or even a similar asset when you're, I can't remember what the time limit is. But anyway, the reason that people do this, like myself, is because in trading, in investing, you have capital gains and capital losses, and you can offset the two. So if you buy Bitcoin for 50 and sell it at 60, making 10 grand, but you buy 10,000 or $100,000 worth of ETH and it goes down and you lose $10,000 on the ETH, you don't owe any taxes. Your loss offsets that gain. You are even, you do not owe any taxes on that. You can also take a little further and you can go beyond that and you can claim up to $3,000 every tax year against your regular income, also from your capital losses. So if you lose more than you made, you can offset some regular income tax with up to $3,000. So there's two ways that your capital loss can benefit you in a tax sense. And that's why I wash trade.
Got it. Helpful to know. And I do have confirmation that you were correct. 30 days.
30 days.
Yeah. You can't sell a stock at a loss and buy it within 30 days before or after the sale date. Any point in that window. So crypto, hey, could be you. It could be for you if you're the wash trading type. Someone asked if I still use River for Bitcoin buys, and I will say yes. Boy, if you are just learning crypto, in addition to, let's maybe a couple of tips, because Web3 101 Wednesday. Since Palmer is talking about Coinbase and taxes, let me start with this and say, I think it's a great strategy if you want to learn crypto, you want to buy crypto for the first time, to use a centralized exchange, to keep a spreadsheet like Alex does. We can help you get a template. We've got them in the Discord if you need one to get started. But they will keep track of a lot of stuff for you. It's kind of like bowling with bumpers or riding a bike with training wheels before you just, go onto a dirt bike racing track. And it can be a great way to learn to buy, sell, secure your crypto safely. It works well with self-custody wallets. It prepares a tax form for you at the end of the year. Another solution I think people definitely should check out, especially if they're thinking about investing in crypto, is an easy Bitcoin buying solution. When you buy or sell cryptocurrency, usually you pay a fee, just like you would if you were trading stocks. Often the fees are lower because there are less middlemen here, but there are some places that are just top-notch. River.com is one such place, and I recommend them to everyone. They offer 0 fees on recurring buys, and you can set up automatic buys and withdrawals. Here's how it works. I've got my bank connected, and at the start of every week, they pull the same amount of money from my bank, and every single day, they execute an order for the same amount of Bitcoin. So I am constantly accumulating Bitcoin to dollar cost average, reduce my exposure to volatility, whether the price is going up or down. And The other cool thing is you can hold assets on their platform. I don't know, if I want some so-called dry powder just to buy extra Bitcoin on red days, I can port that over from my bank at no charge too. I might have, $100 sitting there so that if it's a super red day, I can buy $50 more of Bitcoin in a click, 0 fees. And then just once a month or so, I go in and transfer it out to my cold wallet. I pay the gas fee. It's usually not that bad. And I love it because it's made accumulating Bitcoin a habit that takes no time. And if you aren't accumulating Bitcoin, but you're trying to make money in crypto by doing other things, speculating on altcoins, gambling in the meme coin casino, I got to tell you, you are betting against the math. Bitcoin's the best performing asset in our space. It is the most ever. It is the most well justified and established cryptocurrency, not just by size of its market cap, not just by size of its network, not just by, every metric, just about. It's ticking the boxes. It's here. It's staying. And I love Harry Potter, Sonic, Obama, Inu. I respect people who are looking for 1000x, but you're going to have to buy a lot of crap tokens before you hit it rich. It's like buying lottery tickets when you could buy, I don't know, an index fund. One is certainly going to make your money go up. The other one, you might get lucky. One is investing, one is gambling. So check out river.com. We have an affiliate link that if you use it, it helps the show. It's at our website, but we're not officially partnered with them in any sort of way, though I would love to be. The show is not sponsored by River, but it could be. Could be. Do you use River, Alex, or another? How do you buy your Bitcoin?
Lately, it's been mostly on Coinbase just because I had it set up there, but I would like to do something else, and I just haven't set it up on River yet, but that's probably where it would go.
Yeah.
I've also used Kraken quite a bit. Honestly, usually I default to Kraken if I am using a centralized exchange for anything.
Carol says, or maybe it's just like needing to kiss a lot of frogs. Hogs or frogs before
Hogs
the
or
prince
frogs.
shows up or whatever. That's a really good analogy. Sometimes you got to kiss a lot of frogs before the prince shows up. That's exactly right. Do we have any other questions in the chat, Alex?
It was, I think you hit him. It was a good. Do you can withdraw directly from River to cold storage as well?
Yes, that's correct. 0 withdrawal fees. You'll still pay a gas fee because you're doing an on-chain transaction at that point, but they will not charge you any additional fees on their platform. And you send it to your cold wallet. Super easy peasy. And you do have to do like a verification. Like the first time you want to send it off their platform to your cold wallet, they'll be like, well, wait a second. Let's make sure this is cool. So don't wait until the last second when you really need that Bitcoin and hope the transfer goes through. Like you should do a test transaction after you set it up kind of thing. Get your wallet established, but they make it easy after that. It's nice. Okay. Good news, everybody. The POAP people have given me the go-ahead. We do, in fact, have a POAP today, baby. Yeah! So in a little bit, I am going to tell you, yes, you, how you can claim our official Rise Up POAP for the 300th show. But first, Alex, can you explain what a POAP is and how a person claims it? And you might need to kick it back to me because they've changed it. You got to go to the POAP home app, but and click. So give me that part, but do your explanation. Alex hasn't gotten to do this spiel in a while, and he used to get to do it all the time.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So POAP stands for Proof of Attendance Protocol. It's a cool way that you can prove that you did something by memorializing the thing that you did on chain forever. And in a world where we're talking about coining all sorts of nonsense, POAP is the cool way to do it, in my humble opinion. That doesn't involve setting up a liquidity pool. But anyway, it's kind of like wearing merit badges on chain. We've used POAPs before to mark specific events. We did one for the 200th stream of the Rise Up Morning Show, and now here we are at 300. It feels like it was just yesterday we were doing 200. So I'm sure if something has changed, it used to be there was a whole bunch of different ways that you could claim. There were, just click a link and it would go and let you do a gas-free download or Mint rather, POAP gives you a wallet, and then you can withdraw it from that wallet to your own if you would like to. They default Mint on the Gnosis chain, but there's a couple other integrations now. And
yeah,
then,
fun fact, I noticed that in the setup this time, I could mint them to Base, I could mint them to Polygon, I could mint them to, I had a lot of options, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, isn't that fancy?
I think all of mine are on Gnosis.
Yeah. I think
So
all
what's-
mine are
what's
too. And
changed in the-
I did this one to Gnosis also.
Okay.
So keep
What's-
going, sorry.
What's changed with the claim?
What's changed with the claim is that if you want to claim this POAP, we are going to do it by secret word, as we often do. You will listen for the secret word, which I will give you shortly, and you will take it to the POAP Home app. You can go to POAP, POAP.xyz, or you can look for POAP in your app store. It works for iOS and Android. I'll do a screen share on YouTube. If you can hear my voice, you can check us out at theriseupmorningshow.com, get the official YouTube link, and then find the recording so you can see what this beautiful website looks like. POAP.xyz. And if you scroll to the very bottom, you can find there. Whoop, maybe not the very bottom.
Whoop.
You might have to do it right here. Well. Might be, maybe you just got to search POAP Home. Rugging me POAP all the time. POAP Home app, here we go. Click to download for iOS and Android. It's home.poap.xyz.
There it is.
Once you get there, you will look for a little plus sign in the bottom right corner. You will choose Mint and then secret word, and you will type the secret word exactly as I say it, dashes, spaces, etc., lowercase, uppercase, and you, yes, you can claim your very own POAP. The drop is going to open at the very end of the show in 12 minutes. That's 8:30 Central Standard Time. And so at that time, I will give you the secret word. You got a minute to get your POAP app ready. It's home.poap.xyz. There are only 100 of these collectibles that will ever exist. So it is a bit of a race for the people who are watching live. And if you are listening to the recording, don't fret, don't sweat. I have minted a couple of links that are just for you. What I want you to do is email the secret word, only if you're listening to the recording, to riseup@facelesslabs.io. riseup@facelesslabs.io. Email me the secret word exactly as I said it, and you too can claim your very own super cool, provably unique POAP. Shout out to our friends at POAP, and especially Sebastian for helping us make it happen. Alex, while we were rambling and giving a quick POAP commercial, did I miss any questions in the chat?
There was a couple.
Okay.
Answered some of them, but can give a little bit of extra context and flavor here. So one good one that's very much in the spirit of Web3 101 Wednesdays was, if someone has very little in crypto or new to it, do you need a wallet for security?
Good question.
Learning how to navigate a wallet is one of the top skills that I would say. This goes without saying. The CEO of MoonPay yesterday was, we're at that part of the market where CEOs are making bold proclamations and predictions. And MoonPay's CEO was like, in the future, nobody will have a bank account. Everything will be a wallet. Regardless, it's worth learning how to use wallets. There are so many. Which one depends on which assets you're interested in. But the short answer is yes, absolutely. I don't care how much you have. It's worth learning how to do it. The point of most of this is to own your own stuff. And wallets are the way that you can do that. I will say that my go-to kind of rule of thumb is, if you have enough that you would be sad to lose it, you have enough to get a wallet.
That's a really good point. That's what I say too. And if you want to learn to use a wallet to buy, sell, send, receive, store your crypto securely, turn it back into cash, I would recommend you check out the Learn to Use Crypto playlist on my TikTok profile. There are a lot of places we direct people during this show, but the one you need to remember is the riseupmorningshow.com. That's the one to rule them all, the one link to rule them all. You can find my TikTok, Alex's TikTok. You can find all the Rise Up Morning Show socials. You can find the Discord server. But there on my TikTok, I have a totally free, helpful, learn to use crypto playlist that starts with how to buy, sell, send, receive, store your crypto securely, how to get your own self-custody wallet, how to start with a software wallet, like just a free app that you can download, and also considerations for when it's time to choose a hardware wallet, how to do it. And you know, the TLDR we always give people is the best hardware wallet, or cold storage wallet, it's sometimes called, is the one that's easiest for you to use consistently well. YouTube's got a ton of tutorials. You don't have to buy it before you try it. You can just see what the user experience is like. And if it looks like something you could do, then go ahead and get it. And if it doesn't, don't. I would also say too, the only other thought about wallets is make sure they support the tokens you want to use, the networks you want to use. Not all wallets support all networks and tokens. If you're watching the recording, Alex has dipped below his desk. I thought maybe we were going to emerge with a dog.
They're all under my desk right now.
Now I'm a little sad about that.
The big ones are here, so they're not necessarily pick upable.
They're not pick upable. Come on, Alex. Any dog is pick upable if you try hard enough, and they stay still enough. Oh my God! About to lift an 85-pound dog. Everyone in our live chat says we want dogs. Is that Zula?
There's Zula.
Hey, girl.
She's horrified.
Look at her eyes. She's like, I've never been this tall before. Put me down.
And Echo's leaving now. He's like, oh, hell no.
Echo's like, not me. Yeah, your mom chatted. She said, I see Echo. And Echo's like, not for long. Hey, what do you think about this? The Zora airdrop is supposedly happening today. You thrilled about it? I think I'm probably going to get some. I was an early user of Zora, and I used it before they, did NFTs.
I'm not gonna get any. No.
No.
Well, I don't know. I'd have to check. I think very, very lightly involved. Not enough to. I don't know if I wouldn't give me an airdrop for it, but.
Oh, you wouldn't?
Good luck, and Godspeed. I don't know, dude. Just watching this shit show is pain. It's painful to watch. Yeah. Like somehow Jesse made it worse yesterday. And he's getting flamed for it. And I got to say, like, bro, you deserve it. What are you doing?
Yeah, somebody said...
Hire a PR team, for the love of all things holy. Please.
Somebody said that about the PR team, and I was like, oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good.
Yeah. It's just rough.
But alas.
It's rough to watch.
Okay.
Sora and MEXC are both triggers for me, yes.
I want to shout out our friend Tori because go ahead. You're gonna say something. I'll shout out Tori in a second. I know you got to go in a minute.
There was one more good question that I think we can just toss out 2 resources for.
Yes,
Someone was asking if we participate in yield farming, and if so, how. I will say several things about this. 1, yesterday's show, which you can find on our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
We went real in the weeds with yield farming. There is a whole segment about it. We gave a number of resources. I will very quickly preview them here, just in case you already watched yesterday's or whatever. If you haven't, it's a good one. I will give you 2 websites, and then I'll say, watch yesterday's stream. So this is one of my go-to. You know what is wild to me? I've still never seen another single human being talk about this resource.
Really?
Ever. Yeah, I've made like 12 videos about it, and I've never seen anybody else talk about it, which blows my mind because I think it's one of the best ones out there. I'm going to throw it up on the screen share here. This is called DeFi Prime. So this is one of my favorite ways just to start finding places that I can go do stuff with my crypto. So there's a bunch of different ways that you can sort through this kind of thing. This is basically just a collection. It's an aggregator of DeFi protocols of all different sizes and types and purposes. So here's the categories. So if we were trying to do something with yield, there's a whole bunch of things we could do. We could use lending and borrowing. We could probably find some stuff to do on these decentralized exchanges. Stable coins would give us some stuff. Staking would give us some stuff. Yield aggregators will give us some stuff. And you can come in here, and here's just a quick list of a handful of different options. Pick the blockchain that you're interested in, sort by that way. You can, so if you wanted to figure out like, hey, I'm trying to learn how to stake something. And here, okay, what am I trying to stake? I'm trying to stake Cosmos. Okay, here's 6 options. And go right from there, read a little blip about them. Go check it out, do whatever. Trying to stake Algorand. Here's staking. Cello.
Staking.
Same thing.
I like
Tezos.
Staking.
4 options. Avalanche. Anchor. Shout out Anchor. Love Anchor. Not sponsored, but we should be. The other resource that I'll give you is the Llama. This one we talk about all the time. So this is DeFi Llama. TBL is ripping. We're up like, what's that? $11 billion in total TBL in the last 2 days. 7% up in the last 24 hours.
Wow.
That's beside the point. Over here on the sidebar, there is a large menu with all sorts of goodies, and there is a section for yield. And what you can do is you can come over here and you can search by token, and it'll go through a whole gajillion different protocols, options. It'll show you what the interest rate that you can earn is. It'll show you how big the protocol is, what blockchain it's on, all this kind of stuff. Jesus Christ.
You're good, brother.
Anyway.
Adds to the ambiance.
Yeah. DeFi Llama. So DeFi Prime gives you a whole bunch with kind of just a different way of sorting through. DeFi Llama aggregates all of these things and gives you a shitload of data about all of them. So DeFi, Llama, and Prime, both.com. Recommend both of them for sure. And then check out yesterday's episode because there was way more information about what yield is and where to find it and the risks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I definitely recommend you watch the YouTube video there because there's a lot of screen sharing.
Yeah, definitely the big screen.
So check it out. It's in the Rise Up Morning Show playlist at our page. You just search the Rise Up Morning Show. It'll come right up on YouTube. Now, it's almost time for the POAP and almost time for us to ride our dogs and ponies into the sunset. So I'm going to say, Alex, if it's cool with you, we can use our final thoughts to give people the tools they need to get the POAP one more time. And then we can get the heck out of here so we can mint it too. Sound good?
Yeah.
If you're curious to see it, it looks like this. Oh, my face is in the way for TikTok, and I'll show everybody else here. This is the page that you're going to see. Hold tight.
Look at that thing.
If you're on the podcast, let me just describe it to you. It's like our baby logo, but you know, like the clay Bacchus version. It's
the ghoul, but claymation.
It's gross in the best possible way.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And if you click on the art, you'll be able to, of course, see the expanded picture with the full thing, no cropping. But if you're still trying to figure out how to claim the POAP, this is what you do. You will go to home.poap, POAP.xyz, and you will download the app for iOS or Android, doing this on mobile, or you'll just go to POAP.xyz if you're on a computer. And when I give you the secret word, you will navigate to the claim button. It's a little plus sign in the bottom right corner of the app. And then you'll tap the mint button. And then you will tap from the menu of options that appears secret word. At that point, you'll be prompted to type the secret word into a text box, and you will type it exactly as I say it to you now. The secret word, in honor of our friend Tori, who likes to throw up a little emoji trio for me and Alex and Will. The secret word, all lowercase, is dolphin hyphen angry hyphen peace. Dolphin hyphen angry hyphen peace. Just like that. Dolphin with a little minus sign. Angry with a little minus sign, and then peace. That is the secret word, and officially the mint is open. So pop it into your POAP app for the next 15 minutes. Go claim it. Celebrate the 300th show, and then let's do 300 more. Sound good? Alex, do you have any final thoughts, good jokes, words of wisdom before we ride off into the sunset and claim our POAPs?
If you have any trouble with it and there's still any left, let us know in the Discord. We will help you. I will never go through you telling us what the secret word is without reminding you that I guarantee you still haven't watched the skit from SNL.
Oh yeah. That apparently they have a secret word.
There is, if you've watched Saturday Night Live, there is a skit with a fake game show called The Secret Word. And Evan refuses to watch it, even though he always leans into his microphone and goes, "The secret word is," which is like, that's exactly how it sounds in the skit. Please watch the skit.
Who does it? Who's the actor who does the skit?
It's Kristen Wiig is the main character in that particular skit. And then of course Kenan Thompson is the game show host because he's always the game show host.
Okay, if you're like me and you've never seen it, maybe we'll have a watch party for it. That'd be fun. If you need help with the POAP, let us know. We'll be in the general chat of the Discord server. If you're listening to the recording, send me an email at riseup@facelesslabs.io. We have reserved a couple of unique mint links just for you. And of course, if you have questions, come back. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, on all your favorite socials. Check them out and jump in the Discord at theriseupmorningshow.com. Don't forget to join us for After Dark tomorrow. We've got Brittany Kaiser coming on. Oh, tonight. Brittany Kaiser is coming on tonight in T-minus 10.5 hours. We can't wait to have a great conversation about the future of artificial intelligence. Will it be open source? She says it needs to be, and we'd love to see you there. Until then, everybody stay safe, be well. Until next time, my friends, rise up.